Hello students, welcome to our history class series. In this class, we will discuss about the Delhi Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate was generally established by Muhammad Ghori and the first dynasty over Delhi Sultanate was started by Qutbuddin Aibak. So here we have to discuss five major dynasties in Delhi Sultanate. The first major dynasty was Slave Dynasty. After Slave, the Khiljis overthrew Delhi Sultanate. Then we have to discuss Khilji dynasty, later Tughlaq dynasty, after Tughlaq Sayyid, and the last Delhi Sultanate dynasty was Lodhi dynasty. So we have to discuss these five type of dynasties or these five dynasties: Slave, Khilji, Tughlaq, Sayyid, and Lodhi in the series. Okay, what was Delhi Sultanate and who established Delhi Sultanate? After Second Battle of Tarayan, Muhammad Ghori became very powerful and he controlled the all over northern part of India, including Delhi also. When in 1206 Muhammad Ghori died, on the behalf of Muhammad Ghori, his minister Qutbuddin Aibak became the next ruler in India. As Qutbuddin Aibak was the slave of Muhammad Ghori, that's why he started slave dynasty in India. So how slave dynasty came to India, how it started after the death of Muhammad Ghori? In 1206, Muhammad Ghori died in Thatta, Punjab in 1206. There are lots of story how Muhammad Ghori died. But when Muhammad Ghori died in 1206, his whole empire in India was overthrown by and his successor was his slave, his minister Qutbuddin Aibak. So when Qutbuddin Aibak became ruler in India, so he started slave or Mamluk dynasty in India. So after the death of Muhammad Ghori in 1206 AD till 1290 AD, the slave dynasty ruled over Delhi Sultanate. Clear? So we have to discuss the complete scenario of slave dynasty. So first we have to understand what is the origin of slave dynasty. The slave dynasty, also known as the Mamluk dynasty, was founded by Qutbuddin Aibak. As I told you, in 1206, after the death of Muhammad Ghori, Qutbuddin Aibak became next ruler of Delhi as he was the slave of Muhammad Ghori. That's why this dynasty, which was started by Qutbuddin Aibak, is known as slave dynasty. Slave dynasty ruled over Delhi around 84 years, 1206 to 1290. It was called the slave dynasty because many of its rulers, including its founder means Qutbuddin Aibak, were one slave who rose to power through military and administrative excellence also. The major language of slave dynasty was Persian and Arabic. As the origin or the ancestor of the slave dynasty belongs to the Persia or Arab, that's why the major language or primarily language during the slave dynasty were Persian and Arabic, which was used in their administration, their literature, and their court also. Clear? So now we have to discuss major important kings, their work, their reforms, if any person establish any monument in this dynasty. So let's start this dynasty with the first ruler, Qutbuddin Aibak. The ruling time of Qutbuddin Aibak was started around 1206 to 1210. So he ruled over slave dynasty for 4 years. As after the death of Muhammad Ghori, Qutbuddin Aibak became ruler. That's why he is known as the founder and actual founder of slave dynasty. So he's known as both. He is the founder of the slave dynasty as well as he was the actual founder. As he started slave dynasty and during the time of Qutbuddin Aibak, slaves were also spread over India. Qutbuddin Aibak was a Turkish slave who rose to prominence as a general of Muhammad of Ghori. Means when Muhammad Ghori invades India or attack in India and expand his empire towards India, that time Qutbuddin Aibak was the general of Muhammad Ghori. There were two generals during the time of Muhammad Ghori. First was Qutbuddin Aibak and second was Bakhtiyar Khilji. So when Qutbuddin Aibak became ruler, Bakhtiyar Khilji became the general of Qutbuddin Aibak after the death of Muhammad Ghori. So Qutbuddin Aibak was also known as Lakh Baksh. Why Qutbuddin Aibak known as Lakh Baksh? Baksh means donate, means grant. So he provide or he donate gold coins and silver coins among his citizens or among the Delhi public. That's why he is known as Lakh Baksh, means a person who donate in lakhs. The other name of Qutbuddin Aibak was Lakh Baksh. After Muhammad of Ghor assassination in 1206 in Thatta, Punjab, Pakistan, Aibak declared himself the Sultan of Delhi, effectively founding the slave dynasty. Also, he initiated the construction of Qutub Minar. According to the history, Qutub Minar was constructed or started or initiated the construction of Qutub Minar was done by Qutbuddin Aibak. Later, after 1210, as he died earlier, the Qutub Minar was completed by the next successor of slave dynasty or his minister or his son-in-law, Iltutmish. So, Qutub Minar was constructed or started by Qutbuddin Aibak. After the death of Qutbuddin Aibak, Qutub Minar was completed by his minister Iltutmish, and later some historical says that the last top of Qutub Minar was constructed by Firoz Shah Tughlaq, who belongs to Tughlaq dynasty. Clear? Okay. So he constructed Qutub Minar as well as Quwwat ul Islam Mosque in Delhi was also established by Qutbuddin Aibak. The Qutub Minar and Quwwat ul Islam monuments are related to Qutbuddin Aibak. As I told you, Bakhtiyar Khilji was the general of Qutbuddin Aibak after the death of Muhammad Ghori. So during his reign between 1206 to 1210, Bakhtiyar Khilji destroyed Nalanda and Vikramshila University. The two university, Nalanda and Vikramshila, was destroyed by Bakhtiyar Khilji during the time of slave dynasty. Who was Bakhtiyar Khilji? Bakhtiyar Khilji was the general of Muhammad Ghori, and after the death of Muhammad Ghori, he became slave or general of Qutbuddin Aibak. Also, Bakhtiyar Khilji made Adhai Din Ka Jhopda Mosque in Ajmer to demolish Saraswati Temple. So there was a Saraswati temple in Ajmer which was established during the time of Chauhan dynasty, and there was a famous ruler known as Vigrahraj IV. So during the time of Vigrahraj IV established a Saraswati temple in Ajmer. Later, when Bakhtiyar Khilji became the general of Muhammad Ghori and Qutbuddin Aibak, he also demolished this Saraswati temple and he converted this Saraswati temple into Adhai Din Ka Jhopda Mosque. So where is Adhai Din Ka Jhopda Mosque? Adhai Din Ka Jhopda Mosque is in Ajmer at present. It was constructed after demolition of Saraswati temple, which was established by Chauhan dynasty, Vigrahraj IV. After ruling 4 years in 12010, he died during playing polo, or that time polo was known as chogan. So he died fall from a horse while playing chogan. So in 12010, he died during playing of polo, falling from the horse. So after his death, his son Arham Shah became next ruler, but as Arham Shah was not very powerful or he was very weak, so the empire or the general removed Arham Shah as a king and they basically made Iltutmish as a next ruler. So Qutbuddin Aibak died in 12010. After the death of Qutbuddin Aibak, Arham Shah became next ruler. Who was Arham Shah? Arham Shah was the son of Qutbuddin Aibak. But Aram Shah was not a layak, basically a king, or we can say he was not the able king who can basically run the whole empire. So the minister and general remove Aram Shah as a king, and they made Iltutmish, who was the minister of Qutbuddin Aibak as well as son or son-in-law of Qutbuddin Aibak. And after the death of Qutbuddin Aibak, the complete ruler was Iltutmish. So we have to discuss Iltutmish between 1211 to 1236. Between 1210, after the death of Qutbuddin Aibak, 1210 to 1211, Aram Shah was the ruler, and after basically Aram Shah was very weak, as we all know according to history. Iltutmish became ruler in 1211 till 1236. Iltutmish was a slave of Qutbuddin Aibak. Slave means he was the minister of Qutbuddin Aibak when Qutbuddin Aibak was the ruler. Later, he became son-in-law of the Qutbuddin Aibak. He became Sultan after defeating Aibak's successor Aram Shah. As we all know, Aram Shah was not very powerful ruler. Here we have to understand major points related to the Iltutmish. Okay, Iltutmish was the ruler who started Taka and Jital currency in India. There were two currencies which was established by Iltutmish. The first was Taka and the second was Jital. Okay, so first we have to discuss the coinage of the Iltutmish standardized the currency by introducing the Taka, which was made by silver. So during the time of Iltutmish, the silver currency were known as the Taka and the copper currency were known as the Jital. So there were two types of coin, Taka and silver, we have to remember. And who started Taka and silver? The Iltutmish started Taka and silver. What is the difference between Taka and silver? Taka are the coins which were made by silver and Jital are the coins which were made by copper only. Consolidation of power. How he consolidate his power? He extended the boundaries of the Sultanate and brought stability. Administrative reform. He introduced Iqtadari system, which decentralized administration by distributing land among military officers. So what is Iqtadari system? Important. Now we have to discuss the Iqtadari system. Basically, Iqtadari system was started by Iltutmish during 12 to 11 to 1236. In Iqtadari system, Iltutmish started donated land for their military officers. Means, uh, in place of cash payment, he used to give a piece of land to his military officers as a salary. And this system is known as Iqtadari system. Iqta means provinces. Sometimes the question can be framed as that the provinces or the land during the time of Delhi Sultanate were known as. The land was known as Iqta. And what is Iqtadari system? In Iqtadari system, he distributed land among his officer in place of the salary. Yeah, as a salary, we can say. Clear what was Iqtadari system? The Iqtadari system was started by Iltutmish only. By distributing land among military of campaigns, silver and copper coin known as Taka and Jital. He also established a Turkane-Chihalgari group of 40 prime minister, which was started by Iltutmish. What he did, he basically made a group, or we can say a group of his main 40 ministers. And the group of main 40 ministers were known as a Turkana-Chihalgari. So what was Turkana-Chihalgari? The group of 40 ministers. Who started Turkana-Chihalgari? Iltutmish started Turkana-Chihalgari. Later, this system was destroyed by Balban. The Turkana-Chihalgari was started by Iltutmish and Turkana-Chihalgari was destroyed or demolished by Balban only. So during the time of Iltutmish, Mongols' first time attack in India under the leadership of Genghis Khan. So when Genghis Khan attack in India? Genghis Khan attack in India during the time of Iltutmish. Clear? The Mongols' first attack over India was during the time of Iltutmish. Okay. And what about death? He died in 1236 and leaving behind a legacy of a strong and stable sultanate. So in 1236, he died, and after his death, his daughter Rajia Sultan became the next ruler. So now we have to understand the Rajia Sultan. Also, Iltutmish was the person who completed the construction of Qutub Minar. Clear? Also, he destroyed the powers of the rich people of Delhi. Laterly, Khilji, Alauddin Khilji did same, but the first person who destroyed the power or who basically demolished the power of the rich people of Delhi was Iltutmish. Clear? And he also got a title known as Baghdad ka Khalifa, as the roots of the Iltutmish was belongs to Baghdad. That's why he was also known as Baghdad ka Khalifa. So Lak Baksh, Qutbuddin Aibak was known as Lak Baksh, and Iltutmish was known as Baghdad ka Khalifa. Clear? Okay. So after the death of Iltutmish, his daughter Rajia Sultan became the next ruler. So now we have to discuss the empire during the time of Rajia Sultan between 1236 to 1240. Rajia Sultan was the daughter of Iltutmish and the first and only female of Delhi Sultanate. The first female ruler in India as well as Delhi Sultanate, or we can say first Muslim female ruler, was Rajia Sultan. She started ruling around 1236 AD to 1240 AD. So she ruled around 4 years. She was the only female who abolished burqa and she started wear kaba and kula. Kaba means cap and kula means kurta. So she abolished burqa and in place of burqa, she basically started wearing kaba and kula, the cap and a kurta also. As she was the basically only female ruler during the time of Delhi Sultanate, to most of the cousins and most of the ministers was against in Rajia Sultan. As the ministers wants to become ruler, as the cousins wants to become ruler, so she broke gender norms by leading armies and conducted state affairs. Faced significant challenge due to her gender, as I told you, as she was the first woman. Most of the ministers and his cousins wants to become the ruler. So due to this, the ultimately leading to her downfall. And in 1240 AD, she was killed by some decades, or we can say during a rebellion against his brother known as Behram Shah. Actually, Behram Shah arrested Rajia Sultan with Altunya, who was the minister of Bathinda. Now, Rajia Sultan became want to take revenge from Behram Shah, so she attacked with Altunya over Delhi. As Behram Shah was very powerful, Behram Shah defeated Rajia Sultan and some decades killed Rajia Sultan in Kaithal in 1240. So after the death of Rajia Sultan, Behram Shah became the next ruler of Delhi Sultanate. Clear? So Behram Shah was not a powerful ruler, or we do not need to read about the most related to the Behram Shah. We have to understand only that after the death of Rajia Sultan, Behram Shah became the next ruler. Clear? And after the Behram Shah, Alauddin Mahshuz Shah became the rest ruler. After Alauddin Mahshuz Shah, Nasruddin Mahmud became the next ruler, who basically weaving cap to earn for himself also. And the next major or famous ruler was Balban. So we have to also discuss the empire of Balban. Before this, as Rukunuddin Firoj, after the death of Iltutmish, Rukunuddin Firoj became ruler 1236. Then Behram Shah became the ruler from 1240 to 1242. Rijia's brother who faced internal revolt. After Behram Shah, Alauddin Mahshuz Shah became ruler for 4 years between 1242 to 1246. After Alauddin Mahshuz Shah, Nasruddin Mahmud became the ruler from 1246 to 1266, and the last famous or important ruler was Ghiyasuddin Balban. So in this, the next slide, we have to discuss about the Balban, as he was the powerful ruler. We do not need to read much about these four rulers, as there is no much information related, or there are no information sources related to these four kings. The Balban, a former slave, he was the actually Balban was the slave during the time of Iltutmish, and laterly he became the Sultan. So a former slave who became Sultan, known for his strong centralization, rules, and harsh policies to maintain order. Clear? Okay. So now let's start the ruling time of Balban. Balban, also known as Gyatsuddin Balban, who became the ruler around 1266 AD till 1287 AD. He was a significant ruler of Delhi Sultanate, known for his central administration and efforts to consolidate the Sultan power. His reign marked a period of consolidation and centralization, following the relative decentralization and instability period after the Iltutmish. Balban administration is notable for its emphasis on strong central authority, law and orders, and military reforms. So now we have to discuss the major military reform during the time of Balban also. So let's understand the background of the Balban. Balban, the full name of Balban was Gyasuddin Balban. He belongs to the slave and Mamluk dynasty. Originally, he was a Turkish slave who rose to prominence through his military and administrative estate. Balban was the person who started Sijda system and Pebos system. What was Sijda system? What was Pebos system? Basically, in Sijda system, people had to kneel down and touch the ground with their head to greet the Sultan. So these both system are the system to greet the Sultan. In Sijda system, people had to kneel down and touch the ground with their head to greet the Sultan. And in Pebos system, people had to kneel down and touch the feet of the um, Sultan to greet the Sultan. So there were two systems, Sijda system and Pebos system, which was started by the Ghiyasuddin Bilban. So now we have to understand the administrative reforms during the time of Ghiyasuddin Balban. So Balban believed in divine rights of king and emphasized the absolute authority of the Sultan. He projected himself as a supreme ruler. He introduced two basically rigorous code of conduct at the court in still respect and awe for the Sultan. The first was the Sijda system and second was the Pebo system. As I told you, in Sijda system, people had to kneel down and touch the ground with their head to greet the Sultan. And in Pebo system, people had to kissing the Sultan feet, which was mandatory in court. Also, his spy and intelligence system was also strong. So during the time of Balban, the spy system was known as Barid. So Balban established an efficient spy system known as Barid to keep himself informed about the activity of the nobles and the common people. This helped in managing law and order and preventing conspiracies against the Sultan. The Barid system was started by the Ghiyasuddin Balban. Bari system was related to the spy system. Also, Sijda and Pebos system was started by the uh, Ghiyasuddin Balban, which was the system where people has to show respect with different method to their sultan or king. In Sijda system, people had to kneel down and touch the ground with their head, and in Pebos system, people has to kiss the sultan feet. Next, military reforms. Balban reconstructed and strengthened the army to ensure it was loyal to the Sultan. He recruited soldiers directly under his command and ensured they were well paid and equipped. So his military was very strong. Also, military campaign. He conduct various military campaign and expand the Sultanate territory also. He also captured Mewar. Clear? Also, during the time of Balban, again Mongols attack over India. The second time the Mongol attack was done during the time of Balban. The first time Mongols attacked during the time of Iltutmish and second time during the time of Balban also. Balban focused on the construction and strengthening of the fort to defend empire against external invasion and internal rebellions also. Law and order. Balban was known for his strict and impartial administration of justice, and he adopted a policy known as iron and blood policy. So he believed that a strong law and order system was essential for the stability of the state. He imposed harsh punishment for crimes, especially those against the state, to deter potential rebellions and criminals. So there was a judiciary system also during the time of Balban. Basically, he adopted a policy known as iron and blood policy. He also got a title known as Ulugh Khan. The Ulugh Khan title was taken by the Balban. Lakh Baksh was taken by the Qutbuddin Aibak, and Iltutmish got a title known as Baghdad ka Khalifa. So there are three titles related to the Delhi Sultanate or Slave Dynasty. Notes. Nobles and court. Bourbon curbed the power of the nobility, means Amir and Malik, by placing trust and loyal officers in key positions. He reduced their influence in the administration and ensured that they were subservient to the Sultan. And during the time of Balban, Amir Khusro was in the court of Balban. Amir Khusro, the original name of Amir Khusro was Muhammad Hassan, as he was born in Patiala, UP in Badaयूं in 1253 AD. Amir Khusro was known as uh, Tutiya Hind and the father of invention of tabla. And he is also known as the parrot of India. Tabla and sitar was invented by the Amir Khusro. So Amir Khusro was in the court of Balban, and he was in the court of Balban to Tughlaq dynasty. Clear? Economic policy of the Balban. Balban reformed the revenue system to ensure efficiency tax collection. He appointed honest and efficient revenue officers to oversee the collection process. He encouraged agriculture development by providing security to farmers and ensuring fair taxation. So during the time of Balban, agriculture was also developed, as he wants to generate more tax to develop the agriculture. His administration worked to prevent famines and maintain food supply. Balban was a devoted Muslim, and he also promoted Islamic culture and practice. With his Hindu realism, he supported the construction of mosques and madrasas. Despite his strong Islamic policies, Balban maintained a degree of religious tolerance to avoid alienation of non-Muslim subjects. So he also tolerated other religions, but he was a devoted Muslim. Clear? Okay, here are some key challenges and some responses during the time of Balban also. First, the major key challenge for Balban was Mongols invasion. As I told you, Mongols was continue attacking India. At that time, Mongol was a tribe who belongs to Mongolia, and the tribe used to stay in Gobi Desert. So in the leadership of Genghis Khan, Mongol started invasion all over Central and South or East Asia. So as Mongol continue want to expand their empire, so they continue attacking over India. The first Mongol attack was done during the time of Iltutmish, but during the time of Balban, Mongols also attack in India. So one of the Balban significant challenge was defeating the Sultanate from Mongols invasion, as the Mongol tribe was very cruel and powerful. He strengthened northwest frontier and built a network of forts to prevent Mongols' incursion. Internal rebellion. Balban dealt with numerous internal rebellion with an iron hand. His policy was to crush and sign off dissent or rebellion swiftly and decisively. Also, legacy, strong central authority, as we discussed, also administrative efficiency, law and order. So, Bourbon reasoner often credited with establish a strong central authority and setting the foundation of future sultans. His reforms in administration, military, and revenue collection significantly improved the efficiency and stability of the sultan also. And his strict enforcement of law and order ensured peace and stability in the empire. Balban was the person who basically destroyed Turkan-e Chihalgari. What was Turkan-e Chihalgari? Turkan-e Chihalgari was a system which was established by Iltutmish. It was a group of 40 major ministers. Also, there was a military department which was started by Balban, known as Diwan-e-Arach. So, Diwan-e-Arach was a military department. Basically, it was a department. The main responsibility for Diwan-e-Araj was to organize and maintain the royal army, and Diwan-e-Araj was started by Balban only. The last ruler of the Delhi Sultanate slave dynasty was Mujz-ud-Din Kaikabad, or also known as Shamsuddin Kaimur. As Shamsuddin Kaimur was very weak, and his minister was Jalaluddin Firoz Shah Khilji. So when, as we already discussed, or we every time discuss that when king became very weak, the ministers got the power. So as Mozuddin Kaikabad was very weak, then all the power shifted towards Jalaluddin Firoz Shah Khilji. Jalaluddin Firoz Shah Khilji in 1290 killed the Samshuddin Kaimur, or also known as Kaikabad, and Jalaluddin Firoz Shah Khilji overthrew slave dynasty. He destroyed slave dynasty and started Khilji dynasty over India. So after the decline of slave dynasty, Khilji dynasty became the next dynasty who ruled over Delhi Sultanate. Clear? So this is the slave dynasty we have discussed. Let's quick revise the session. The slave dynasty was started by Qutbuddin Aibak, as we discussed, in 1206 AD after the death of Muhammad Ghori. Who was Qutbuddin Aibak? Qutbuddin Aibak was the slave during the time of Muhammad Ghori. As Muhammad Ghori died, he became next ruler. We have also discussed that Qutbuddin Aibak was the person who established Qutub Minar and Quwwatul Islam Mosque in Delhi, also known as Lakh Baksh. And during the time of Qutbuddin Aibak, Bakhtiyar Khilji destroyed Nalanda Vikramashila and as well as Saraswati Temple, and he constructed Saraswati, or he converted Saraswati Temple into a Adai Din Ka Jhopla Mosque. During playing Chogan or Polo, he falling from the horse, he died in 1210, and laterly Iltutmish became the next powerful ruler. Iltutmish was the person who started Ikta system, means distributing land among their military officers as a salary, as well as he basically started Taka and Jital system, means two types of coin, silver and copper coins. Also, Turkana Chihalgari group of 40 main ministers was also started by Iltutmish, and the first Mongol attack over India was done by during the time of Iltutmish under the leadership of Genghis Khan. Then after the death of Iltutmish, Rajia Sultan, his daughter, became ruler, first Muslim ruler, and she belongs to the slave dynasty also, and she abolished burqa and wearing kaaba and kulla. As due to her gender, she basically in a rebellion she died in 1240, and the next ruler was Mozuddin Behram Shah. After Behram Shah, Masood Shah. After Masood Shah, Mahmud Shah became the next ruler. And after Mahmud Shah, Balban became the next ruler over slave dynasty. And he was the last powerful ruler of slave dynasty who started Sijda and Pebos system in India, means to show the respect to the Sultan. He also established Barid. Barid means spy system in India. There was also a system known as Diwan-e-Araj, which was established by the Balban only. Diwan-e-Araj was the military department, a department who basically work as a maintenance of royal army. Also, Balban basically, during the time of Balban, Amir Khusro was the famous poet who was known as the parrot of India, as he established tabla and sitar, or he founded tabla and sitar. The father of tabla and sitar was Amir Khusro and Amir Hassan, both. Clear? So Diwan-e-Araj was started by this, and he also got a title known as Ughal Khan. So after the death of last ruler Kekabad, and the Kekabad was killed by Jalaluddin Firuz Shah Khilji, and Khilji dynasty became the next dynasty over Delhi Sultanate. So I hope you understand this session. In next session, we will discuss about the Khilji dynasty. Thank you.